The year of 2023 is going to be a year of being thankful and giving back for Thisflippenfurniture. So here are some mallets I've made out of offcuts. So sometimes they don't line up exact. So you'll see, like right there, I had to add a piece of zebra wood. This one's got a little weight to it. This is really nice for small and tighter in areas. So these are all used, but I'm gonna sand them down. I doubt I sand this one down to get those out of there, because then these would be different widths and it'll look kind of screwy. But I'm gonna give one of these away, and the winner, we'll do it similar how we did with the kitchen island that Audrey won. And that's actually en route right now to be delivered today or tomorrow. The winner can pick any one of these, and I'll tell you, this hammer's a little bit big, this one's a little bit small, and this one is just about right. So we have the three little piggies here. I originally didn't like that zebra wood, but it's kind of growing on me now. I like the ends of it. Oh, those are different widths. So using scrap wood, you don't get precision, but they're very functional and useful. So there we go. So if you would like a chance to win one of these wooden mallets, hit that subscribe button. And in the comments, type in 3 little hammers. And then check out the description box for all the rules. We're going to work on a little different kind of furniture flip. The old Dewalt portable table saw has been good to me. Let me take you on a little bit of a shop tour while I'm out. No, I live on a small farm. Over the past 15 years or so that I've been woodworking, I transitioned from sort of working on tractors and vehicles. So a lot of this was set up for when I was working on tractors and vehicles. I just find myself enjoying furniture flipping more. What happened there? That used to be where that table saw sat. We'll take a peek around here. For Christmas, evidently I was a good boy, and I got a little staging area here. So these are the flips that I'm gonna be... What is that? T-Glide system. Don't know what that is. But here's a desk from the 1800s. I'm working on now. I've got the veneers that were on here were in pretty bad shape. And this looked like hickory on the top, so I matched it with the hickory. What is that? Sawstop. That's strange. Then not too long ago, I added this little pegboard, and that's actually the white pegboard. I just stained it black. I thought it looked a little better. Over the past several years, I've really grown to like all 10 fingers that I have. And the type of furniture flipping that I enjoy doing usually involves a significant amount of work on a table saw. But as I've grown to doing more and more, I went out and purchased a new Sawstop. I got the dust panel, the saw, the blade guard assembly, and got the upgraded 36-inch T-Glide. So, kind of excited. I kind of thought this would be the ultimate furniture flip, is turning this Dewalt table saw into this. So we're going to document the process of putting this thing together. So for me, it was quite expensive, but if you value your body part, you tend to pay a little bit more to keep them attached and free from any defects. And if you're not aware of any of the Sawstop safety features, just go into YouTube and type in saw, stop, and hot dog. And there are ample videos out there that will show you the speed at which the Sawstop safety brake is engaged. And the reports are within or under 5 milliseconds. That blade is gone and retracted down below the top of the table. You must remove it before moving your saw on the contractor saw mobile base. Makes sense. And I did buy that. Looks like we have the wheels. Wait, first thing I noticed is these things are really heavy. Installing your mobile base. So I tend to like to read through this stuff. I'll just fast forward. So everything is in here according to this. So I don't know about you, but me and my kids used to love putting together Lego. And Legos had the best instructions or directions for putting together complex and sometimes several thousand pieces. So my standards are pretty high for instructions when you compare them to Legos. So the first thing I appreciate of Sawstop is that it's printed in print. You don't need a magnifying glass to read. Okay, I was getting a little worried. I pulled apart the mobile base and it didn't have any of these parts. So when I'm putting stuff together and they give a phone number, I usually call it just to see what kind of support we're going to get. So I contacted the 503-682-6222 and it was disconnected. So I went to Google and I Googled Sawstop customer support and this is the number that came up. And this is the correct number, 503-582-9934. The gentleman that answered the phone was very, very helpful. I explained to him what was going on, and he said, open up the main back, and you will see one of these. Very, very nice. And then everything is laid out. And since the hardware packs are color-coded, I can only imagine that it is color-coded to this. So if this is the case, Sawstop will rival Legos in their assembly instructions. So as a comparison, here is Sawstop's assembly instructions. Here's the other thing I have I've purchased recently. So you can see that, look at how small that print is compared to reading this. So there we go. Locate components labeled A through F and hardware packet 1. Here I have hardware packet 1. It's warming up this evening a little bit. It has these little locking tabs to where you just spin it and it drops. Here it is on the other one. These two locking tabs. And then this has two holes so you know it's positioned correctly. Put on our flat washers, our lock washers. Okay, side panels marked D. Right there, right towards the bottom. Okay, the side matters on these. You just line these side panels up until they seat in that hole properly. So this side is done for now. Same nice little locking tab so you know you have it in place. This one takes a little pressure to get it in place. Same parts. Just gonna get one of these started so it doesn't flip over on me. You can see now, when you have things like this, you see how that hole is perfectly lined up, but you come to here and it's off a little bit. Now, granted, this isn't tight, but sometimes I'll take a larger carriage bolt or a wooden dowel and drive down in that hole, and that'll keep it lined up during the process. But I think with these tabs in there, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that if it's put together properly. Okay, the mobile base is put together. I would have to give the instructions on this an A, and I would give it an A plus if this was in there, and it very possibly could be. I just missed it. But when you start working on it, you have your mobile base instructions with the mobile base hardware pack, and you see I used every piece but two flat washers. So you have your mobile base, and then you have your, I guess, poster or placard of the assembly process. The stand and the mobile base are separate purchases. So that's the reason for the different hardware pack. This mobile base is an upgrade or an accessory, however you want to term that. And maybe I should have just known that, but as far as the instructions, very, very easy to follow. As long as you use the placard along with the mobile base instruction. And the only part that's a little bit tricky is inside of here. You have the bolt here with the spring, and this looks weird, but that's how they have it in the manual. So this lever, this brake release lever, and I have to go through and tighten everything up yet, but it goes on the inside of this. So when you press it, now it's mobile, and then to go and release it, you just press down on that. Okay, and then the only other tricky part is in the beginning, this bolt that goes onto this caster has an additional gap, a spacer in there for this lever to rest on. So the instructions say don't tighten that because you have to take it back off and put that lever in there and then put the washer and then the nut back on. This took me about an hour and a half to assemble this. I downloaded the Sawstop app. They have this pretty cool little game where I think in 5 milliseconds, the brake is engaged and the blade is out of the way if it comes in contact with the skin. So on the app, they have this little game where you hit start, a saw blade is spinning, and they tell you when it turns red to hit it as quick as you can. So the first time I didn't expect it, so it was like 2 seconds or something like that. So I had, I don't know, like a 14-inch gouge in my hand. Okay, we're on step 12 and we have the stand and the mobile base assembled. So we're going to take this styrofoam out. And then we have to get this saw out. I'm not exactly sure how much the saw weighs, but we're about to find out. All right, through the magic of video editing, we were able to get that down or get this up on here. The instructions do say to grab a friend to help lift that saw onto the stand. But since I don't have any friends, I had a real predicament. My wife helped me get that up on there. I suppose there might be some people that could get that on there, but it's heavy. This thing rolls nicely. So installing the elevation hand wheel and the tilt hand wheel, and they look very similar, with the exception being in the instructions for installing the elevation hand wheel, it says slide the tube as far as possible. So the difference in these is the one in the white or the clear bag does not appear to have a tube. Inside of this one, it does. So I'm gonna go with that. This is the elevation hand wheel and the other one is the tilt. To slide that as far over as possible. And there's a little lock on there so it'll only slip on one way. And then the tilt goes on.
For $382.
Okay, so there's that. And then next is installing the motor and belt guard. And all contractor saws the motor mounted in the back. All right, so we go to hardware pack 2. At the time you get to installing the motor, you go to hardware pack 2. This motor slides right into here, I guess. So we have the motor put on, so we are going to go to the extension wing. So very nice. We are moving to the purple section, and then we will grab the hardware mounting the extension wing. Sawstop has done an amazing job. These look fairly easy to get on. Sometimes I think I'm losing my mind. I could have swore I had a socket. Oh, there it is. I left it on there. Okay, that looks pretty good. I believe we have our saw together. Oh, we have to mount the switch box. The orange background on hardware pack 2. Use 2 M6 washers. We go right to the orange. There's the 2 screws and the 2 washers. All right, mounting this switch box proved to be the most difficult part of the assembly process. And I think that has to do more with I was just tired by this point. This was, probably 4 hours after I finished a day of work. So it's probably 10 o'clock at night right now. And I was getting kind of tired. So I just decided I would get this box put on and then call it a night. Decided to bring out the pneumatic wrench and just help me get those 2 bolts in. They're fairly simple, but just the angle that it was on and me being tired, I just thought that that would be helpful. Congratulations, your saw is now assembled. Go to installing the rip. Okay, since I got the upgraded version of that, I think that would be over here. That saw's quite a bit lower than the table. And that table is not going to be easy to shorten. And this right here is one of the main reasons, outside of the obvious safety features, I love Sawstop T-Glide. It's like I have to get the rails off. So we got these side rails put on for the T-guard. The only necessary thing is make sure you get these in the right holes. And now we're going to move on to the extension table. So let's grab that. And as you see, we're going to have a problem. My old outfeed tables sit about 6.5 inches higher than this one. Once again, we have the hardware pack. It says if we have stamped wings, which are these, skip the next step. Goes on the underside of the table. Okay, this one says it's for both the cabinet saw and the contractor. We put in the leg support bracket. 16, 17, 18, 19. 2 M820, M8 washers. Okay, we have the T-Glide rail set, and this just has some screws in the bottom, and they're loose, so this slides back and forth. And what we're doing is just gapping this. So the instructions say, I think, a 30-second, and you gap it with these white slots here. And this is very slick. It's got that oil on it, so be careful when you put it on. I'm just going to take that, and this side looks like it's out just a little bit further, so I'm going to push in on this one after I get my ratchet set. Okay, pretty good. Just gonna crank a couple of these down before I check the gap. Okay, and this I know to be exactly 5 inches. So I'm gonna line this up with the outside carbide tip just until it barely scrapes the tooth. All right, I want to lock that down. Now I'm going to check the same tooth on the back. Let me raise that blade a little more. Okay, that's showing right on 5 inches. That is awful close. It looks like it might be. I'd show you, but I don't even think it would pick up on camera. But you see, I can freely move that through there. And we're just a hair past 5 inches on this. That doesn't even pick up on camera, but I can see just a little bit of that black line. So I was just curious at how close it was right out of the fence. And it's pretty darn close. All right, we want to check fence, make sure we're right at 90. That's good. So this fence is 90 degrees. Can't get this in between the tooth or the teeth, but there is a small gap running all the way down this, which would make sense because we're in the outside tip of the tooth. So actually the only thing that really needs adjustment is this, and I could get by without it because it was so close, but I'm going to move this over just about a 32nd. Okay, now this should put us right on. Yeah, you hear that on the tooth? So there's no wiggle room in there. Got this tooth in the back. No wiggle room, and that blade moves just a wee little bit. So I've been wanting a Sawstop for a long period of time. They are pretty expensive, so I told myself I'm going to wait until I have 2,500 subscribers. We're in the 400s now, but I have faith we're going to get there pretty quickly. And not only faith, but we're also going to offer some additional bribes throughout 2023. I mentioned earlier that 2023 is going to be a year of being thankful, and we're going to do a lot of giveaways on this channel throughout 2023. So if you would like to help the channel out and also have an opportunity or a chance to win one of those 3 hammers that were mentioned earlier, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and then immediately go down into the comments and type in 3 little hammers. Make sure you go to the video description, and all the rules and regulations for a YouTube giveaway will be there. And good luck in the drawing. And I also know everyone likes to know how much things cost. So I have included my receipt for the particular Sawstop that I purchased. And as always, thanks for watching.